God bless her. I fired her that day, my primary care. Knowing all the knowledge I have as a practitioner, I brought every single lab that I had. I did a saliva test. I did a hair analysis. I did my blood labs. I did everything that I would do for a client. And, she looked at my papers. Maybe you should stop eating French fries. And then I got we are that age, honey.
It infuriates me. You're speaking to so many women right now because we all keep hearing the same thing. You're okay. Or, oh, your numbers are within range. You just get some more sleep, exercise more. You just need to watch what you eat a little bit more. There's something deeper going on. I love that you're bringing that up because that is so real for so many, I think, people across the board, but especially women. Because we've got these hormonal factors that have just started being looked at in the last 2 decades.
I'm glad you're saying that too. And for those of you out there, it's not your fault. Okay.
Hi, friends. This is James and Karen. We are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
and us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning, friends.
Thanks.
Today we have a special guest, a dear friend of ours, Elle. She is not only a dear friend, but she is a natural health practitioner, Reiki healer, and she just wrote an amazing book, hilarious and very informative, about navigating menopause. And even if before, gentlemen, you shut this off, even if you are not a woman, I think it's very important to understand what us women do go through for menopause so that you can support that person in your life in the best way that you can possibly do so. So, Elle, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you got going on right now.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for having me on your podcast. I am a natural health practitioner. I do have a doctorate in traditional naturopathy. I have a bachelor's in holistic and bariatric nutrition. I'm an advanced energy practitioner. I do hypnosis. I also learned and do a ton on aromatherapy. So there's a lot of things that I've been doing for the past 30 years that have been helping people with their health and wellness, one of which also Miss Cara here, who's known me most of her life. I'm at a part of my life where a lot of my clients are suffering from menopause. And we say suffering because, that's kind of what happens. Your body gets really angry at you and you don't really know what happened. And for the guys that are here on the call, this is going to help you a little bit. If you don't get to listen to all of this, you get to grab a copy of the book. Fantastic. You'll kind of learn why your spouse, your partner, your friend is losing her mind. And it's okay. Right? So there's little things that you can do. So that's kind of what I have here.
I love it. One of the things that I guess I want to point out that you've been in the natural health world before it was cool, before it was the hip thing to do. You raised your kids on it, in fact, and I just I love that. And I've always admired that from you. You kind of been in this more alternative space before it was an alternative.
That's right. Well, my background is basically, I grew up, my parents are from Belgium. So they came to the United States in 1955. So all I knew for medicine was natural medicines. And my grandmother would send stuff over from Europe because that's how my parents knew how to take care of us. Right. So I kind of grew up with that same feeling. The reason why I actually got even more so into natural medicine is I can recall a time where, I had been sick and my mom gave me NyQuil. Ooh, not so good. So anybody that's out there that does human design, I am completely open spleen. So that NyQuil did not work really well. Made my heart pound so bad that they thought they were going to have to bring me to the hospital. So from that moment forward, I just really chose for natural solutions. When I first was really, really getting into natural health, I learned a lot about candida. Some of you know what that is, some of you don't. So candida is the overabundance of yeast in the tissue. And so if you're experiencing a bunch of bloating that you don't know why, whether you're menopausal, anytime, guys, girls, cats, and dogs, all of us, right? when there's bloating involved, there's something not working right. So it could be candida. And again, it's just that overabundance of yeast in the tissue. It's caused by having, too much sugar, too much medication, too much of too much. So what happens is it just kind of starts working around the gut and it starts to make you bloat. So I learned about that because I'd gone on vacation with my husband. Of course, we were younger, so we were rock stars in Jamaica, eating, drinking, carrying on, have a wonderful time. I went to Jamaica, my pants fit. I came home, my pants fit. That was surprising as it was. I was really tan, which was good. But 10 days in, I started to crave sugar. I started to crave like Oreos and brownies and cookies and before it was cool, boxed wine. Okay. And that was something I didn't normally do. I didn't know what it was. So I started to do some research and I started to work with this girl and I had candida. I'm like, well, what the hell is that? So with her, she had this program that was already put in place. So I loved the program so well. And yes, did I muscle test all the supplements? Yes, I did. Because at that point I was already doing Reiki. I was already doing energy work. So I wanted to make sure that, the supplements I were taking were singing to me, and they were. So I was like, okay, woo. And at that point, it was a big chunk of change to take that. And it was like, I had to come home and tell my husband, okay, I just spent amount of money on these vitamins because I have this and I think I got it from you. Right? Because my husband, lots of ketchup and milk and ate crap and that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I did the program and basically I got my health back. I learned the program so well that I went out to study with the main company. And that was in Utah. And it's funny because almost every company I work with is out of Salt Lake. Spent a lot of time there. Love Salt Lake. Work out here in Salt Lake area. So basically I learned and I trained under Candida, but then the owner of the company, she kind of struck fancy with me and she's like, you're really interested in this. So she says, why don't you go back to school? And it was like someone gave me permission. It was weird because I was like 32 and I'm like, huh. And prior to that, yes, I was a hairdresser. So yeah, okay. All right. I still got a little of that going. And I went back to college and I got a doctorate in traditional naturopathy and I got my bachelor's in holistic and bariatric nutrition as well. So within that, I learned a lot of cool stuff. And my drive for natural medicine really was there. I did, release all that candida out of my gut, of course. And then I started to teach other people that. And I was amazed at the amount of people that actually had candida. And it's prevalent now as well, right? Doctors don't talk about it because it's too easy to fix. Basically, it's a really clean elimination diet, using the correct kind of protocols, like, really good probiotics. There's ways to do it. And if someone's interested in that, feel free to give me a call. I will hook you up, right? Make you feel better super quick. Other things that I do that's somewhat interesting that a lot of people don't is I had the luxury of studying with Dr. Peter Diodamo. And Peter Diodamo is a medical physician, but what he was is he studied and he created the protocols for the Eat Right for Your Blood Type program. Some of you may have seen the book before. So when I started to work with my clients, I really started to focus on their health using the protocols that were in that book because it was important to me because I knew it made sense. And of course, that book has been poo-pooed all over the place. But I tell you, when you follow it for your blood type, it makes a whole lot of sense. Like my blood type is B. Okay. Whether it's plus or minus, it doesn't matter. I'm actually B minus. Always as a kid wanted to be an A minus because I thought I was, doing something wrong.
Overachiever.
But being a B type, basically that gives me a pretty strong immune system, but I can't have chicken. Doesn't mean I can't eat it because it gives me a digestive situation. What it does is it creates inflammation. So inflammation is the basis of all disorders in the body, whether it be emotional, physical, or spiritual. So throughout my trainings, everything just evolved. And from that, like I said, studying with the blood type diet, I actually became a fellow with his company, which is a nice little hey, I learned so much. He's a great guy. If you ever get to listen to anything he does, he's brilliant. You just can't have a regular conversation with him because he's that brilliant. He'll go over here. It's like squirrel, shiny, right? That too. Okay. But very cool.
Squirrel.
Right. So as I evolved with what I learned, I started to study aromatherapy because I really thought it was a cool thing. It's like, why not use the science of nature, right? I believe that truly there's For anything that's on this planet, there has to be something to fix it, right? We know that if you have poison ivy, right, what's right next to it, right? The thing that cures it, if you would. We're not supposed to really say the word cure, but yeah, right? If you have poison ivy, use the plants next to it. That's what's going to neutralize it for you. Everything in nature, there's a path and there's a reason for it. So I've really followed that throughout my career as well. As I've been progressing, I've really refined things. So like when COVID came, that hit a lot of us on so many different ways. For me in a business wise, I couldn't go see people live anymore. So that meant no more hands-on healing.
Yeah.
That meant no more this, but you know what? We all got really proficient on Zoom, right? We all learned how to wear a pretty top,
Yeah.
right? Too many people standing up in their underpants, right? But it was a good time for that. But we all learned how to teach better and really help people online. So that's really what I started to do. But at that time, just like everybody else, nobody really felt well, right? There was a lot going on. And I, at that point, had started into a pretty significant part of menopause where I was blowing up like a codfish. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, I have every diet known to man because, I teach nutrition. And I was gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight. And I did not know what was going on. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So, of course, I went to the best medical book in the world, Facebook, right? Because Facebook has the answers for everyone that's freaking out, right? So I said, I'd try keto because keto at that point, it was like, everybody do keto. Yay. Yeah. I put 6 pounds on in 8 days. I'm like, well, that's not doing it. So, working out on my treadmill every day, YouTubing because you can't go out, right? Watched a lot of things with Dr. Pompa. If you ever see Dr. Pompa, super cool guy. I like him. I studied with him as well. And, we learned about different things that are causing disorders to the body. Like, did you know? I'm just going to give this as a do, Kara's probably going, is she ever going to stop talking? Probably not.
No, this is beautiful. This is beautiful.
If the folks out there, if you're drinking out a lot of those plastic water bottles, especially those ones you like get from, Costco, BJ's and stuff like that. Not that we don't like Costco, because God, who doesn't love Costco? But the bottles are really squishy. The more squishy that bottle is, understand that there's plastics that are being put into that water, right? And you're consuming it. So most people are walking.
Extreme temperature, and you move that bottle, it just breaks down right in that water for you.
And then what's happening is you're consuming it. So most people have about the size of a credit card's worth of plastic in their body all the time. So, drink out of your, I don't know if you say it, right? Your Yetis or however you can do it. Old school, drink out of a glass. Woo! Like a real glass. Right? Right? So, things like that, I've learned so much. And, a little assistant for that, here comes your aromatherapy. If you are someone that knows that you've done a ton of this plastic consumption, and, please stop putting plastic in the microwave, right? If you still have a microwave.
Using the microwave, period.
Yeah, no microwave.
Microwave just kills your food.
No. So, it looks pretty in the kitchen, right? But try not to put anything in there. The other thing that's not really good for you too, and again, let's think about Costco or BJ's or even the regular grocery stores, those rotisserie chickens, although mighty tasty, right? They put a hot chicken into a plastic bag. So now that hot chicken has now got plastic in it, right? So I just want to give you some common sense stuff where you kind of go, huh, and that's basically how I teach a ton of people. I like to give you that, But getting back to the plastic piece. So I do work with one of the largest essential oil companies in the world. I do work with doTERRA, and some of you are yes doTERRA, no doTERRA. That's okay. It's what I use. It's what my family uses, and it's what I've used when I worked in hospital settings. Okay. Clinically proven, science-based. That's what I'm working with. So with doTERRA, there are many of their essential oils that you can consume in water. So I like to use the lemon oil, which basically is if they were to take a lemon and they were to take off the skin, like the rind, take all that rind and squish it, right? And the oil that comes out, that's what goes in the bottle. And it's organic. So, right? It's for $13. You cannot put 80 lemons in a little teeny bottle or go to Whole Foods for that. So me, I just put some of that lemon into my water, right? And sometimes I'll make like a lemonade. So I just put it in my water straight and I drink it, right? So I know that's going to help eliminate some of those plastics out of my body. So those are just some of the simple things that I do. As I'm thinking forward, as I progressed, I also, going through COVID, I started to learn a lot of different things about how to get my weight under control. I did partner up with a chiropractor from Colorado. Love him. Not going to give his name out because he doesn't like when I do that. But basically, we worked together because he created a homeopathic remedy that I work with almost every day with my clients now. Not that I'm just working specifically with women, I work with a lot of guys as well. And what people are trying to do is trying to get their weight under control because there are so many, the pesticides that are out there, all the garbage that, they put in our food, right? All the stuff that we're using, and not to knock every product out there, but like Tide has 9 known carcinogens. 9, right? But we still use Tide. Why? Because it's convenience, what we're taught. Colgate, same thing. So I'm looking at different solutions that I can help people with. So when I find that they have a lot of these chemicals embedded into their body, right? Sometimes they're stuck in their people's brains, right? So we like to call that upstream and downstream. A little thing you can do if you're watching this podcast is this, even if you like rub around your ears and then drag down, okay? Bring down that way. That starts to bring down anything that's working. So it works for your lymph, right? There's lots of different techniques you can do and, tapping and stuff like that to allow the lymph and also toxins to come from the head down into the body so the body knows how to absorb it and get rid of it, right? So there's a lot of cool things that I like to teach. Obviously, since I'm yapping away here, what else can I say? So with this product, I just love it because it is completely natural. And what we do is we create this program for people. I finalize it and bring it hard down to like even what their blood type is to the type of foods that they can consume while they're using these homeopathic remedies. And in these homeopathic remedies, they're like B12, right? Who couldn't use a good dose of B12, right? Uplifts your mood, makes you feel better, helps you look better, right? So during this program, we kind of call it a little bit of a detox, but what it does is it also helps get rid of candida, right? Gets rid of cravings, right? Help people reduce their weight. And if they follow the protocols of the food lists that we give you and real food, okay, you're not just doing shakes and bars because body doesn't like that after a while, right? What happens is most people can lose between 1/2 pound and 2 pounds a day. 1/2 pound to 2 pounds a day. So of course, when I first heard that, like everybody else, I'm like, that's crap. That's not going to work. Nope. Right? Because I did keto. Damn it. So of course I have a conversation with Doc, and of all things, his family, his heritage is Dutch. I'm Belgian. I speak Dutch.
Oh, wow.
So I get on the phone and I'm like to him, and he's like, "Oh, honey, aren't you cute?" Like literally, like if he was through the phone, he would have tapped me on the head, right? "Oh, honey," like that. He goes, "Yeah, my name's Dutch, but I can't speak it." I'm like, "Okay, great," but we hit it off real well. So I asked him like a gajillion questions on candida that I knew and learned from protocols that I had learned before. And so he loved what I had to say, and he didn't think of using his product in that way. So we created this really great friendship. Still friends with him now, which I'm happy about. So when I come and I work with a client, especially if, we have couples that come to see us, like they're, getting ready for their 20th wedding anniversary or their, 40th class reunion, and they're both like, "Oh, Jesus, we don't want to show up looking like this." So when we come with a partnership, I help those people. I speak with them every single day. We work on their protocols, and within 4 to 5 weeks, they're usually down 20 pounds. The thing that's different about this program is we actually teach you to eat. I used to work bariatric, right, in the hospital setting. My job was to be the nutritionist. Almost got fired plenty of times because I had people lose the weight so they didn't need the surgery. Thank God I started to work with a Greek doctor who kind of understood, oh yeah, I was in trouble all the time. Because I'm like, well, let's teach you how to eat, right? Why not? So I would teach people to eat,
Oh, boy.
And then, they would lose their 50 pounds and then they didn't need the bariatric surgery. So it was a lot of hair
Wow.
twirling when I was working.
Wow.
But the doctors thanked me because they realized, you know what? That's the smartest solution because otherwise they gain it back. And then, that pain of regain
Yeah.
is not fun for anybody. Whether it's a bariatric situation, and that's for some, if you don't know what that is, that'd be whether or not you had a lap band put in, or you had the gastric bypass or the gastric sleeve. Just because you've had the surgery, and don't let anybody tell you it's easy. Well, for God's sakes, no. It is traumatic on the body. It's difficult. It's hard, right? But can you screw it up? Yes, you can. Because if you don't unlearn the behaviors, you put the weight back on. So my thought was, why not teach them how to eat the right way? So I still use those protocols in my weight loss programs that I use now. And people thrive. They thrive. And so I did the program myself. So like I said, I was a bloated codfish. And I was about 30. I went like 30 pounds because my menopause had kicked in. And I'm like, mother of God, what is going on? Dropped all that weight and then some. So now I'm down to my happy girl, sassy weight. Not saying what number that is. Good. But I'm in a very strong, healthy weight for myself. Problem that had happened, and this is going to be with a lot of women going through menopause, is now we're seeing very spiked numbers of cholesterol. So cholesterol tends to rise during menopause, right? And sometimes it's because we're dehydrated, right? If you're not drinking about half of your body weight in ounces, thank you for drinking, right? What happens is, and this, follow that protocol, but please check with your physician because I am not a physician nor am I your physician, right? Check with your doctor, okay? So when you're doing that, when you're drinking the right amount of water, your body feels good, right? Your skin stays hydrated. Your body is able to clear toxins that we're getting from around anywhere from you. The air we breathe, the emissions, even electrical frequencies that are out there screw us up. So we want to keep the body clean and concise. But when I work with people in my protocols, I try to give them the best advice that I can to get them on track. The difference with this program is, again, I'll teach you how to eat. I'll teach you how to keep it off. So I'm giving you solutions because at the end of the program, we go to like a stabilization phase. In that stabilization phase, we increase your food, like a lot. And what we do is we test the body, right? To see how much calories can you take in before you start to gain, right? So when I do people to join me in these kind of programs, I send them a little link from Amazon. It's a scale. It's like $23. I make absolutely no money on it, right? They're probably thrilled, right? What happens, it has a really nice, easy app. So let's just say you're on my weight loss program. All right. Every morning you're going to get up and you're going to step on your scale naked. All right. It's going to give you the little app. You take a picture of it. You send it to me. My job is to be your greatest cheerleader. If you make a mistake, I'm not going to judge you because, man, I've done it. Right? We live in the world. There are days for cupcakes and beer and wine and whatever you tend to drink.
Pizza.
Right? There are days for that, just not every day. Right? So I teach people how to learn, how to, bring that into their life. Now, again, getting back to the cholesterol scenario, that's what I had. I ended up high cholesterol, which if anybody that's listening to this knows me, they were like, you have high cholesterol. Like, I didn't eat crap, right? I didn't eat it. I didn't, and it's funny because I had gone to my primary care because I was like, something's wrong. And God bless her. I fired her that day, my primary care, because she literally, and me, knowing all the knowledge I have as a practitioner, I brought every single lab that I had. I did a saliva test. I did a hair analysis. I did my blood labs. I did everything that I would do for a client. And, she looked at my papers. Maybe you should stop eating French fries. And then I got you are that age, honey.
It infuriates me. You're speaking to so many women right now because we all keep hearing the same thing. You're okay. Or, oh, your numbers are within range. You just get some more sleep, exercise more. You just need to watch what you eat a little bit more. There's something deeper than that. I'm sick of pulling my hair out and punishing myself and feeling guilty about every ounce of food I put into my mouth. There's something deeper going on. I love that you're bringing that up because that is so real for so many, I think, people across the board, but especially women, because we've got these hormonal factors that have just started being looked at in the last 2 decades. Like, we don't know anything about them yet other than our own experience.
Absolutely. So, and I'm glad you're saying that too. And for those of you out there, it's not your fault. Okay. If you're having some cholesterol issues, first I want you to look at, is there a genetic component? Like both of my parents have have high blood pressure to a point. And they also both had high cholesterol, but there's a genetic base behind that. And, my folks, God bless, my daddy just turned 96 and my mom is 93. So, right. And so, they've been on statins and blood pressure medications their whole life. So of course, first thing doctor wanted to do is throw me on a statin. Oh, I was not happy. Again, remember I fired her that day, so I didn't have to go on the statin. And it wasn't till maybe about a year and a half later, COVID's all done and something's still not right. And now here if you know me, I take a buck ton of vitamins, like an Olympian amount. Right. And I was, right. Cause I'm holding my weight, damn it. And I'm like staying strong. And I said, something's still not right. And so I went and had my labs done. And now my cholesterol is not crazy. It was just over the 200s. Now, mind you, I don't eat butter. I don't eat olive oil. I don't eat avocados. I'm not eating this. I'm not in French, well, yeah, I'm having occasional truffle fry with BFF when I get that chance, but I'm living in the world, but I don't eat ice cream. I don't drink dairy. Right. So I'm like, what is the problem here? So my doctor believes it is a genetic thing for me. Again, tells me you need to go on a statin or you're going to die. I was a little irritated, to say the least. So I was palpitations, and that scared him. And my primary is a good friend of mine. So basically, he was like, I need you to try this. God, I hated it. So I did. Had to go on a statin for a little bit. So I'm admitting that. Don't feel guilty, anybody. Man, I did, because I was defiant that I was ever going to take a medication. I told him, I will give you 6 months. So again, he's great with that. All right, we need you to lose some weight. Okay. So now I need to lose another 15 pounds. So he says, and I'm like, ladies, as you get a little older, you don't want to become concave. And, I know there's a lot of folks out there looking at the injectables. Really do your research, please. Please, before you take a look at that. And I'm not going to give a name to any of those, but please, please, please do your research. All right. There are side effects, irreversible ones, right? Sometimes it's not worth it, right? Because remember, I can show you how to eat to lose weight, right? And keep it off. So just
and above and beyond the side effects that come with them, there's a dependency that gets created because then your body starts creating less of that natural hormone because it doesn't need to because you've been supplementing it. So when you come off of it, now your body isn't making it anymore. So outside of any kind of side effects, you're getting a dependency on it, essentially.
Right. I totally agree. And that's why my 6 months is coming up right now. And now, mind you, my entire cholesterol panel is 131. It's almost a little too low, right? So for those of you, my good cholesterol is around 55 and my bad cholesterol is 55. 56, you get the math, right? Too bad where it goes later. So I'm like, all right. And they're really thinking that it's some medication. And I'm like, you know what? Diet and lifestyle is a huge thing. I just started to put avocados back into my life because I was afraid because I didn't want to put any fat on because they needed me to, you need to get down another 10, 15 pounds. And I'm like, so just those out there, I'm 62. Okay. I just turned. Thank you for saying if I don't look 62. Okay. But if I do,
You
don't tell me. Okay. But, I want to make sure that I'm eating the proper fats for my body, and again, like I said, I take really good supplementation. Those are out there. And again, I can't recommend, I can just let you know what I take. So I take a whole food supplement, which is basically if they went out to the best field in the world and chopped up all the fruits and vegetables and put it in a veggie cap, I take that. I do take CoQ10. I do take D3 with K in the winter. Because right now, again, I'm in New England, still sunny out now. In the wintertime, we go in the can. There's no tanning going on here. I do take omega, right? Because that brings up your good cholesterol, right? I eat in the world. I also still
and brings down inflammation.
correct. And there are other natural things out there to reduce inflammation, but a lot of it's what goes in your mouth. Granted, like I said, there may be a genetic profile for you that could be there. So please, again, check with your doctor. Like I said, if I'm screwed, okay, and it's a genetic thing, all right, I have to suck it up. But did I go besides mainstream? Oh, hell yes, I did. I went to my best buddy, a master acupuncturist, right? So why? Because he's a master herbologist. Did he make me some yummy little pills for me to take from herbology, from Chinese medicine? Oh, yes. The kind that remove any crud that gets stuck into your heart valves. So I did have issues with the Widowmaker because I had to have all the tests. In here, truth be told, I had not had medical insurance since I was 25. I didn't need it. Thank God I went and got it because this cost me a fortune to have all this done. But had all the tests because now I can rule out XYZ. Again, I get back to the cardiologist. I'm like, don't you think I should go have that test to see where I am now? And they said no. I'm sorry. Doesn't that
They
make
want
sense?
you to stay on the pill.
Right? Doesn't that make sense? Like if you're here, I have this and I do all this, shouldn't we? No, it's not covered. Okay. So I have a little handshake going on with the cardiologist, where I'm like, okay, if I get my number to this number, LDL and HDL, will you let me come off the statin? We'll talk about it. Okay. So that's my story for that. But coming back, so now
And I think that natural medicine and traditional, or I don't want to say standard medicine, they kind of go hand in hand, right? So perhaps the statin that you're on gave you that boost to get you to level so that you can get everything else kind of ironed out and leveled out, and then get, like you said, you're at your healthy weight, you're at your sassy, you feel your confident self again. So you can start weeding off of that product. It's not a lifetime commitment. It's a let's do this maintenance right now and then move forward.
That's my approach. Now, mind you, I've been trying to skirt my way off of this, but I made a promise to my family. They hold me accountable. Oh. Right, because they're afraid. They don't want me to die.
For grandbabies to be around.
Grandbabies, I got grandbabies that need me. And a cat. And a husband, but
I will tell you, probably 5 or 6 years ago, when I was before we had our big transition to start eating healthy, I was on blood pressure medication. 10 years ago, I guess. Before we moved off grid.
Yep.
And I was on blood pressure medicine for about a year, a little less. And it was through diet, exercise, that I came off blood pressure medicine.
Good for you.
And you can come off prescription medication, because I was totally against taking a prescription at 45 years old. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to start a prescription. I asked the doctor, I was like, well, how long do I got to take it? He's like, the rest of your life. I was like, no way.
Yep.
It's not happening.
Takes focus, takes commitment, and you got to do it the right way. You got to do it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
because if I wouldn't have did it the right way, and thank Kara, because she's the one who got us really eating well, I kept the weight off. And I haven't gained really weight since.
Well, it helps you don't have a thyroid and you're on an immense amount of thyroid. his appetite since he's been on the thyroid supplement is like, woo.
I was feeling good,
But that's only been the last year.
I'm teasing you. It was just an opportunity
But
to tease.
I will say eating correctly is no processed food at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And we hardly eat any sugar at all.
Yeah.
No cane sugar, no sugar.
And another thing too,
And it's hard to do.
it is. I've been eating like that for decades. That's why, when they said to me, well, it's because you're eating French fries and ice cream. I'm like,
Have you
everything.
met me?
I keep my mouth shut, everything in my power. And I'm like, wow, it's a good thing I'm a lady. But inside, man, that was other. I could speak 5 languages. If we're all going at one time, I was like, this is not good. Ching sugar, like a little sugar is not going to kill you. A little anything is not going to kill you. A lot will kill you. Another little trick here I want to tell for folks listening here, table salt, like iodized salt, right? A lot of salt has plastics in it, right? So for the longest time, I was getting salt from the salt flats, right? In Utah, like Redmond salts and stuff like that. Really, really liked it. Now I'm actually using a nutritional salt. So it's actually putting good salt into my body. And if someone's really interested, reach out to Kara. I'll tell her what I'm using, so that that you can use alternatives for that are not going to spike your blood pressure or your sodium levels in the wrong way. This is actually, it's going to help the body because you need salt and you do need potassium. You just need it in the correct levels.
I was going to say, salt has been like demonized in our culture, just like fat has been. Yes, the vegetable oils and canola oils and stuff like that aren't good for you, but good fats, avocados and all that are really good for you. Same thing with salt. It's not that salt's bad for you, and it's not bad for you for having high blood pressure. You need salt in order to regulate your hydration in your body. If you don't have salt in your body, you can't regulate your moisture, so you're going to have higher blood pressure because your blood's going to be thicker.
Yep. And that's what it is. It's the thicker blood. So you just talking, there's a test out there called, it's a pH test from Reams. So REAMS. If you ever know it, someone that could do that for you, that will tell you really how thick your blood is. Right. So there's different ways to do it. Sometimes it's an area of detoxification. If you live closer, I'd say, here, come do it over here. But, so that was part of my studies where I learned all that too, because I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, there's got to be another way, So cool stuff. Just a little trick. If you do have high blood pressure, so this is not a diagnosis or this is a suggestion. 2 stalks of celery a day. Celery has natural sodium in it. Hydration, fiber. It helps with the blood pressure. That's
and it also detoxifies. It'll help clean you out.
Yep. That's my unapologetic celery.
Yeah, we actually do the celery. We do the celery.
That's good. And celery juice, yeah, that'll if you're doing celery juice in the morning, that is definitely going to clean you out. So those are some. But I know, like, this all just started.
We do celery, and I do a lot of beets.
Yeah.
Beets. Oh, beets. Yeah, beets are great for the liver. Helps clean out the system. Good. I love to juice. It's very yummy. If you've never done it, give it a shot.
I don't know if beets are yummy. They kind of taste like dirt to me, but I eat them because I know I should.
Yep. Well, they help so many things cardiovascular, but also, like I said, they're very supportive of the liver as well. So I always, if I'm making a juice, it's usually carrot, beet, sometimes a red pepper, believe it or not. That will sweeten up the juice if you don't want to put like an apple in it or something like that. A lot of times I'm throwing in my, essential oils into my juice too. Just those things that I do to up level it. I know my son-in-law, he'll take the vinegar mix, if you would, takes apple cider vinegar and he adds in our turmeric as a turmeric oil, right? As opposed to putting in the spice of it because it's potent in it. So he puts that in there and whatever else he throws in there in the morning and chucks it down. I'm like, yum. That's me. I'm like, not a drink, but whatever you like. But those are some things. But
burns like whiskey.
Yeah, it's kind of like whiskey, whether you like it or you don't. But I know we've been talking a lot about health and nutrition, but the reason why, I wrote this book and it's the Magnificent Menopausal Glamazon. I'll show you a little. This is the cover, if you can see that. Whoops. says, unleashing your inner superhero, one hot flash at a time. Yeah. Because for those ladies out there, I would say raise your hand if you're in it, you get it. So I wanted to write this book with a humorous twist on it, right? So it does give you some, some good thoughts, what you can say to, why are you having a hot flash in the restaurant? How many times you've been in the restaurant and you see some nice lady fanning herself and the family's making fun of her? My daughter used to, right? My girlfriend, best friend. What the hell are you doing? I'm like, you just wait, right? And now she's fanning all the time. I'm like, mm-hmm. So, there are natural solutions. There's a quick one. If you are having a hot flash in the restaurant, I'm going to tell you, peppermint oil, it's the bomb. Roll that on the back of your neck. And Alex says, we'll hook you up how to get some at wholesale if you want to. That will cool you down. It will take down a fever too, right? So there's certain little tricks that you can do to help with that. Another thing that's going to raise those hot flashes, especially in the middle of the night. And for you lovelies that have not hit menopause yet, yeah, that is a thing. And you will be hot in spots never experienced before. You're like, how can just my upper chest be hot and nothing else? Or it's your legs or it's your back, and you will drench the bed, right? Make sure you got extra sheets and towels and whatever, because it's like, oh my God, what the hell is happening, right? Who did I piss off in my body? Like, it's like pyrogenics going off. And a lot of times that's when the hormones are starting to flip, right? It's when we have, too much estrogen, not enough estrogen, right? Your insulin is high. All the hormones are having a hot mess. It's a big circus. And it's like trying to corral cats, right? It's not pretty, right? So if you can, get ahead of them. And so too much caffeine, more hot flash. Too much wine before bed. Oh yeah, you are having a hot flash, right? If you are eating after 7 p.m. at night, you're going to have a hot flash. Just saying. So there are some little tricks of the trades. They're in the book. Happy to share them. I did, like I said, I wrote it funny because it made me feel better. And then after this book, I do have another book that's going to be on how to manage your weight. Well, I'll give some of those little special tricks that I've been giving my clients and what I've been teaching myself for years to help that. Now, mind you, those that you can see me, I am not a skinny mini, right? I am a curvy woman, very curvy. I kept my curves because my husband likes that. I don't want to be too skinny, right? I want to be healthy. I want to be lean and I want to be strong. So you know what? It's what your idea of that is. And you know what? Healthy is diverse. So healthy can be 200 pounds, ladies. I'm not kidding you, right? If you're built like, an Amazon, I like to call you a glam, right? If you're like 5'8", you have very broad shoulders and you're curvy and you can fit into a size 10 or 12 and you could be 200 pounds. You might have a large breasts. Yeah, all that counts to it. Your BMI will apparently be high, but you might not be fat, but they're going to say that you are, right? Please, please, please.
Yeah.
Don't knock yourself down. You are fabulous however you are. And if you're comfortable at whatever weight you are, great. Let's just make sure that your numbers are where they need to be, right? That are realistic numbers. We want to make sure that your blood pressure is good, right? We want to make sure that you're dealing with stress properly, right? And you know what? Stress is a big thing. That'll be another book, right? And I've been through it. Some big talk on that where you'll be like, oh my God, you poor girl. Yeah. All right. Well, you suck it up, buttercup, get going. So, you learn how to deal with stress and you can learn how to deal with it without medications. What do you know? Like try a guided meditation. I don't know. Take your shoes off, stand outside in the grass for a little while. Let the magnetics of the earth actually ground you. I know if you don't understand that, that's a whole other conversation as well, but just try it.
Hopefully they've listened to enough of our episodes. They've got a taste.
No, and I've been studying energy medicine, oh my God, for too many years. And I've applied that, and I had to say law of physics, but it kind of is. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to put on the mirror right here. There is a magnetic grid on the planet, right? There are special frequencies. So like all of you are watching this podcast. 40 years ago, this would have been witchcraft, right? Oh my God, or Star Trek-y, right? It wouldn't have been right. I can call you from anywhere in the world from my phone, and you pick it up and you can hear my voice. How the hell is that possible? But it is, right? It works off of frequencies. You understand the concept of a radio frequency. Like right now, a lot of us have satellite radio, but if you can remember the days of AM, FM, right? And you have an FM station on and you're driving up the highway, right? And you get into, where I live, we can go through many states, right? And it goes from singing your favorite song, you're singing along to, and it's some other stupid song that comes in. You're like, what the hell? It's because you lost the bandwidth of that frequency. Your body has frequency as well. When your body is in pristine health, right, you're between 68, 70 megahertz of energy, right? No one's telling you that. We know your body temperature, we have your frequency. Well, it's need to work within those things. So another little trick on the side, frankincense oil has a very high frequency to it. So I always recommend it to people that are thriving from cancer, healing from cancer, just found out they have cancer, because why would we not put a high frequency oil on, around, or in where that is? Because that's nature's delivery system of a high frequency to fix stuff. But again,
I love that.
It's the different sites, right? So again, remember, I can call you from anywhere in the world. I have my own IP address, just like you have your own IP address on your computer. There are plenty of new technologies out there where you can meet up people and they can scan your whole body via Zoom over a computer system because it's tapped into your personal IP address. So like I have my personal IP address. There's no one in the world exactly like me, nor you. So you are unique. All of you are. We're all special unicorns, right? So within that frequency, the scanning systems that they have, again, sounds very Star Trek-y, can go in and it doesn't hurt, right? And they can go, like basically, okay, hold still. Did you know you got da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? Right? A little bit on the biofeedback side. They can send a frequency back to help heal you. So the technology is out there. It's just that we're trying to catch up. So like I said, I guess I went all over the place with this today. So I didn't even give you a chance to ask questions.
It's beautiful.
So what questions might you have?
This was glorious, Elle. I love it because I feel like you did kind of a full spectrum, touching on a little bit of everything that you're passionate about, and that is so beautiful and wonderful about you. I will say, your Glamazon Menopause book, Menopausal Glamazon. It's not only fun to read, it's an easy read, it's easily digestible. It is a great way of making fun or poking fun at something that's a really serious thing we all go through as women. And I love all of the beautiful tidbits and information. And what I really love is at the core of it all is to not look at this transition, this upgrade in life, essentially, as the end of your life. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. And
Right.
so many people that we have interacted with through the podcast and just through our personal experiences, it really does become a new chapter in your life. It's a new beginning. You're letting go of the nurturing part of your side and really embracing your inner strength, your inner warrior. So I love the Glamazon because that's really what it is. You're finally stepping into who you want to be instead of being who you have to be for everybody else or who you think you have to be for everybody else. So I love that empowerment message you have all throughout the book. You consistently put those reminders in there. And I think it's really beautiful because I think a lot of what we go through in life, it all depends on our mindset. You were talking to James a little bit about, reframing his mindset on having had cancer, how it's in the past and all of that. I think it's the same thing. If you go into menopause, and I've been really geeking out on absorbing all of this menopausal material. So this book was coming out at a beautiful timing for me. But if you're reframing that mindset going into it and you're staying positive and you're looking forward to it, it's going to be a completely different experience than if you're dreading it and you're dragging your feet and you're miserable and angry about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a beautiful book for that, to reframe that mindset.
Great.
And I will say, I love the way you explain the energy frequencies,
Yes.
be as with the phone call and the FM radio, because it's so true. And we all have that energy through us. And it was amazing how you explained it. So I really enjoyed that.
Well, good. That was something I came up with years ago because I was trying to, I was trying to figure it out, just like everybody else, and you don't always have the right mentors out of there. But I'm like, I can call anybody. I can call somebody in like Antarctica today if I wanted to, and they're going to pick up the phone. It's probably frozen, but they'll pick it up. I'm like, huh, and we think about the cloud. What the hell is the cloud? But all of my pictures are there. Everything I own. I'm like, but where is it? So it's like there's technology that we assume now that's just there. But if you look at your own personal energy, like when you don't feel good, right? Your frequency is down.
Yeah.
Right? There's the emotional aspects of there. I like to tell people, there's a special scans basically. So it's like if you're at 100, you are like, oh, it's ugly. You're like near dead, right? You're so sad you're there. 200, you're depressed, you're kind of sappy. 300, you're like, yeah, okay, my day's kind of okay. 400, man, I'm having a good day. 500, I am a rock star. Woo! I feel love, right? 500 is love. Stay at 500 and above, love or above. That's really where you're trying to stay. But granted, there's days. Like I said, there's days for cupcakes, there's days for highs and lows. Try to stay above because you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
A choice to be happy or sad.
Yeah.
Choice.
Absolutely.
I would prefer to be happy. Are there days that are crappy? Yeah. I still try to find something good in it. Little tip for that is breathe. If you're stressed out, if I can share, I know we're running over time here. I teach people the 111. I'm going to take a little sip of water here. I've called this the 111 because I don't know what else to call it. So basically, and you can do this with me, right? You take a deep breath in, you hold it, you say the word one, say one, release a little breath, one, release a little breath, one, release a little breath, so all the breath is out of you, right? Right. So we're going to do it again, right? Here, read. Deep breath in. One, one, one. Isn't that cool? So what it does is if your nose,
cool.
you see your shoulders will drop, right? Because you're holding your breath. Most of the time, most people are running around holding their breath all day long. They're eggshell dancing and they don't know why. Right? So that 111, 10 seconds, you are in control of yourself again. And then you smile. Right? Want to make it even more fun? Rub some wild orange essential oil underneath your nose. That's clinically proven to uplift your mood. Or smell an orange or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. So lots of stuff. So
I will tell you the breathing exercises are so important and everybody should do them. And I'm 55 years old and I never did a breathing exercise until we got in the car accident and they sent me to PTSD counseling. And I had a really cool counselor and she did a lot of breathing exercises. And I can't believe how much it even slows my mind down from having the monkey brain, as you called it. It really does. And it lowers my blood pressure.
Yes, it does.
So breathing technique, that was every one of them. That was a great one. So thanks for sharing. And I really want to look into the book and where I get it out of there is the blood codes. So I really want to research that.
The blood type? Yeah, that's been around.
Yeah, because I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay. So it's called Eat Right for Your Blood Type, written by Peter D'Adamo. It's a D apostrophe Adamo. He went to Bastyr, which is a naturopathic college, I believe in Oregon, or Washington State. I forgot where it is. And brilliant scientist. And like I said, I had the luxury of working with him side by side. Like he was so smart. I half the time I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Like I had to go back and like, oh, what is that? Oh, okay. But I really applied that kind of eating to my diet. So it makes sense. So if you just want a quick synopsis, if we still have time, if your blood type is, so the blood types, all right, there's 4. Okay. O,
I was gonna
A,
say I'm O.
B, and AB. Okay, those are the 4. The plus or negative don't make a difference in this part of it. So there are specific foods that are inflammatory to you. So you're O, so you're a caveman, all right? There weren't any cows, nor were there any bakeries making bread, right?
I will tell you, I was fat from bread. I cut out bread. I don't eat bread, and the weight fell off me.
Yep, because
That's no lie.
it'll make little glue, so, when I was a kid in Europe, right, we'd have like really good bread, right? And I can remember like warm bread, scooping out the middle, making little shapes with it, right? Eating it down. Probably wasn't the smartest thing for me to do then, but it was fun. That's what happens inside the gut. That bread just kind of sticks in there. Now there's like inside your intestines like this, there's these little like hairs called villi. And if that bread makes glunk, it makes like glue, like Elmer's glue. And then you get twists in your colon, you get diverticulosis, right? You get all this crap that's going on. It's inflammatory. And then what happens is that blood, which we don't think about blood going through there, right, is now pushing that rotting food out into your abdomen, right? So now you have an allergic response. And it may not have bothered you as a kid, but after years, it does. So like for O's, dairy and wheat, the grain of wheat, not so much your friend. Okay, there's other foods too, but for time wise, if you're A, you're supposed to be more like a vegetarian because a piece of steak, although you may love it, can take 6 weeks from here out. 6 weeks. I want you to think of John Wayne. John Wayne, he had a huge belly. It was 40 pounds of undigested meat. Okay, his blood type was A when they did his autopsy, right? He's a cowboy, he's going to eat meat, right? The body can't process it. That doesn't mean you can't ever have it. There's ways to do it. You're going to eat enzymes before, then you're going to have your piece of steak and just realize you can't have steak all the time, right? But blood type A is more on the vegetarian base, but bananas are not your friend either. Your blood type is B, mine, chicken. Can't have chicken. I can have turkey. I can have eggs, but I can have chicken eggs, but not the chicken flesh. And I can't have wheat either. Okay. So wheat is a little inflammatory to me, right? So I know that. If your blood type is AB, that's my daughter, right? She can't, and Kara, she can't have chicken, right? She'd make big blisters on her lips if she ate chicken. She was working at some bar, as a kid,
Now her
right?
voice gets so sore she couldn't even walk the next day.
Yeah. She couldn't even like serve chicken wings. She was like, whoa, right? Because she was that, sensitive to them, right? Same thing. AB is not good for have like peppers, like bell peppers. Can't have bell peppers. It sounds crazy. Like, why? It's just how the body can alkalize it and absorb it into the tissue. Just a thought process for you to understand and look at. Just give it a quick read. Get the white book, right? If you're going to look at it, that's the easiest one that has all 4 blood types in it. And what it's going to do, it's going to give you some guidance. Like, okay, there's beneficial, neutral, and avoid. Okay, you have common sense. Don't eat anything in the avoid list. Simple as that. See how you feel. Like for me, I don't eat wheat per se, but if I do have a piece of bread, it's going to be a piece of Ezekiel bread. It's made a little different, right? Mm-hmm. It's not often, right? Chicken, I know better. And again, it's not going to give me a GI system. What it will do, like if you listened at the very beginning, was I a hairdresser? Yeah. I worked for Paul Mitchell. I was a colorist for years. My arms were above my head for a long time. So if I do eat a piece of chicken, I hear crack in the morning. Or if I have something that's made with chicken stock, even worse. So I won't eat a chicken soup, but you like go to a restaurant, let's just say they make something, maybe even like your steamed vegetables. Sometimes they throw some chicken stock in there and make it flavorful. Oh yeah. I'll be like, mother of God the next day, like a crippled woman. Right. And I'm not. So additionally, you know what? Not that this whole conversation is on health for, menopause women, but for everybody. If you have inflammation, look at what's going in your mouth. Look what you're putting on your skin. Basically, I hate to say it, anything that you're putting on your skin from CVS, right? That's kind of how it goes. You know what? You just do the best that you can. I'm not telling you to wipe out your whole house, but you can make small steps to increase your health and longevity, because that's really what this is about. right? I would love to live to be 100 and then
I'm gonna tell you to wipe out your whole house because that's what we did. I went through all of our cabinets. I had a conversation with you actually when I
yeah,
joined doTERRA, and I went through and I emptied out all of our pantries. I emptied out my medicine cabinet, everything, and started all over from scratch. Like once I saw it, once the veil was lifted, and once I realized how poisonous everything is that's around us that we use, that we surround ourselves with, I had to wipe it all out. And like
yeah,
you said, every once in a while, it's not that big of a deal. You know, we live in the world, and if you're doing the right things on a regular basis to help detox your body, you know, you don't want to live in fear because that's another toxin. You don't want to
yeah,
become afraid of everything. Just make smart choices when you have the opportunity to make smart choices.
absolutely. And, that's how I live too. Like like I said, there are days for cupcakes, right? You got to still live in the world. There's days for a good piece of chocolate, or a glass of wine if that's what you like, you know? Just don't drink the whole damn bottle in one night, right? Unless it's or whatever. But the next day you're going to know it. So the next day you overhydrate, right? You learn different ways. You eat apples the next day, right? There's lots of different tricks out there that you can do to make yourself well. So like I'm really on this journey of longevity, right? Like I said, I guess I did pretty good with my folks since, they're 96 and 93
Yeah.
and they've done pretty much everything I've asked them to do. They're still on a ton of vitamins. Their doctors are like, they're too old. They don't need to be on them. I'm like, yeah, they do. Because I'd like to keep them a little longer. So that's kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. If anybody does want to work with you, and want to reach out to you for any of your resources, your wealth of information, what's the best way for them to contact you?
call me. Really. You want to call me, I pick up the phone. Do you want me to give you my phone number now? Or you want to go through? Okay. So really,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're comfortable, and we'll put it in the show notes also.
as long as you're not writing it on the bathroom wall in some like skanky little place, feel free to give me
For a good time, call Elle.
call out, right? No, don't do that. So it's a lot of eight. So it's 860-888-8613. So if you're someone who loves magnets, like real fun numbers, those are a lot of eights, a lot of infinity going on there. 613, that's my birthday. So just in case you want to send a gift, I'll be open to receive. Just, but yeah, or you can send me an email at dr.elle@icloud.com.
I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
So
Good.
It is
it's
always an absolute pleasure talking to you, Elle. You are such a wealth of information. You've definitely planted the bug in my ear years ago and have definitely helped
Helped us.
inspire our health journey
Absolutely.
and our leap into the alternative medicine world. And now we're embracing it and running around in it. So it is so beautiful to be able to do this dance with you and help promote your book, promote your business, and definitely look forward to doing this again.
well, thank you so much. Anything I can do to share the love of natural medicine, my pleasure. And so much fun for me. And I didn't even have too much coffee today, but anyway.
It's easy when you're in your mode.
So love and light to
When
all.
you're doing something you like, it's easy to talk about it.
Absolutely. It comes from that law of passion. Do it from passion.
Yep.
Abundance flows. So
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.